Welcome back to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition Modern. Last time, we got ourselves a bunch of new components for the ZPM so that we could both upgrade our HPCA. HPCA. To get these advanced computational components, as well as I did end up getting all of those components fixed up to be able to make the parallel control hatch. And what was the other one? There was one other part. Oh, and we got those super tanks, which I have replaced a second one. I don't know if ethane was really the best one to do next, but that was what I had next. I think it might be better to do some of these other ones that used a little bit more, maybe like tritium, propene, butadiene. Everything else gets used so fast that it's kind of like not super helpful, or not used enough at all to be not worth it either. So there is those two issues. Now, I'm kind of getting tired of some of the drawbacks of this armor, and we want to be able to upgrade that. So I've decided today we're going to go ahead and upgrade it, because our hover, well, it's a hover, we're still falling. And we only got night vision on our goggles. The only other thing we get is fall damage negation, whereas the next set of armor gives us a whole lot of other traits that I'm excited to actually have, especially since I'm pretty sure the flight part of it emulates the creative flight, so you can actually just like hold it in air instead of dropping all the time. So it can go away for now. But I did get stuff set up to be able to make it. The key part on this is to make the actual flight module stuff. You do need the previous suits. So we've got to go ahead and make ourselves one of each of these regular suits. So we're going to have our boots. We'll start with that. And they require a lot of different items that we've been gathering over the course of quite a while. So our helmet, we need more iridium, which I think we've actually got to a decent supply of iridium after the couple of things I've done. Iridium, yeah, 543. Not wonderful, but decent. But very, very decent supply to be able to actually get into some of these items. But it requires ourselves some iridium. It requires a couple other components in there. So we got our iridium plates. There was Viridit in something. It might be a lot of the stuff for the actual chest plate here. We got our double iridium plates. We need the batteries, which I believe those require europium. That one? No. I'm not sure where I saw it at. I do know we need more for here, for the gravitational units. So that is a thing. Now, one thing I did notice, that while we go ahead and whip up these boots, the one problem that we've got, and this is kind of an interesting issue, while we can make all of these components for this stuff just fine, I think it's once we get into straight up these require, no. That's going to take some time. And I was going to upgrade that in the meantime. Well, I guess we're going to see about trying to upgrade it. Oh, we can't upgrade it now. I mean, I guess we can kind of upgrade it now. Where's a wrench? Let's do that nice and quick. We're going to go ahead and pop. Take out that. Take out that. Do a ZPM. And then I need a PT. There we go. Boom. And I need cable, and I need cable quick. Right there. Boom. I'll place another one, because I do plan on making it UV tier later on. But we can go ahead and clip that in, and that should function at a much What? What? I'm confused, because it was saying that it was overclocked and doing it at 60 seconds with an overclocked LUV, but we now got it down to 15. I didn't think this was supposed to be perfect overclocked. Maybe I misread stuff in all of our stuff, but that fixes that. I was gonna say what I'm working on and what I've been waiting for is we've got ourselves a Mark 1 fusion reactor computer, and that alongside a data orb will give us the thing to make our Mark 2 module. So we're going to have to go ahead and set up a data orb to craft as well. But that should be done pretty quickly. The only other thing we need to upgrade at this point is our cutter. And I think the best way we could do that is by making a brand new place to actually house that at, which the problem is we need more plasticrete, which I am completely fresh out of, and we've got a lot of things auto-crafting. So, is one of those things I'm just going to have to deal with for now. I do know that if I do another building, we need to make sure we've got... Maybe not worry about those two. Those are good over here. But an assembler... That's what I got, 3 of them. Oh, that's a polarizer. So an assembler to basically combine all 3 of those into one, and a elite cutter. But I did want to show off a couple different things that I ended up finding out along the way. One thing we should do is go ahead and flip this back on with adding back in our sulfuric acid. But, so we've been letting this go and doing its thing. If I can grab... Where is... Right there. Turn this thing on now. I went on a little bit of an escapade, and this is what I find absolutely crazy. This is with one drill of those mega ones. I jumped from 500 to 19,000. And that's why I do think it's actually a pretty good investment to do those elite miners, because it does take a while to get everything through. And with that, and everything else that we've been getting... Are we out of something else that I'm not aware of? No. No, we're fine. Interesting. I don't know what's going on there, but, yeah, this is the only problem we have with running autocrafters, is that, I think I said this before, this one's not an issue. But this elite cutter is. It looks like that's probably what I'm going to have to do for another episode after this, because this thing is going to require even more to upgrade it to Mark II. And, just looking at that alone. Ooh. Yeah, that's gonna need to be fixed for sure, especially because we've got even assembly coils and other things like that that are going to be needed. This is going to be quite the endeavor. I did not plan for that to be as big of an endeavor as possible. Does look like we're good on the computation, though, for this, which is good. What else do I really got to show off? I don't think I have much to show off, because a lot of it ends up being running around making sure stuff is working, as well as that your drill actually goes all the way through, because sometimes it'll just flat out shut off. Oop. And see, look, like, this has been crafting now for 20 minutes. And that means I've been crafting that for 20 minutes before I even started the episode to try to get this so I can show that off. And then we've got the rest that are needed for upgrading that one. Oh, that's not what I wanted to check out. I wanted to check out over here. Oh boy, did that not craft? Oh no, it is crafting. Okay, so we're good on that part. I was a little bit worried there, because that's something that's supposed to be in and of itself, but we are, again, we're waiting on the saw thing. So let us figure out if we can go ahead and start making some plasticrete in the meantime to be able to make another room. You play. Right there. Maybe we can do 30, it looks like. Okay. And then I think we do still have another clean room block. So we got the clean room block, we've got some glass we can go ahead and use to stack on up to that. We don't want to be... I think I would be just a little bit further away. We'll start it over here. We don't want it to be very big. So let's go ahead and look what we need as our inside base. So we got the saw, large cutting saw, which requires a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need 7 on the inside, and I think the assembler is just about the same size. Yes, massive assembler should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's a little bit bigger. So we need a 9 by... Realistically, we only need 9 by 7, but probably want a 11 block area. So let's go ahead and try to get that out. So we got 3, 6, 9, 11. And then we just need to be 9 deep, which is again going to be 11. So we got 3, 6, 9, 11. And just carry that on all the way across. And even into the center after this. So that's going to be a lot more than I expected. But with both the data orb and the fusion reactor finished, we can actually go ahead and start this thing up on its research, which will allow us to gain those. Access to those, anyways. Well, it's taking so long on the plasticrete. Kind of want to investigate. I always like to investigate when stuff does not seem to be taking as... Polyethylene is what our problem is. Why is our problem polyethylene? What is our crafting recipe for polyethylene? Okay. I didn't even realize it was a crafting recipe. So... right here... basic chemical reactor is where it's going. That would probably be why it's super slow. And I know exactly why it's also doing that, and it's because it's going into this one. Because that was supposed to be an auto-crafted measure, and that's why it's so slow. Got it. Ooh, I know I got rid of the container that it was being held into. So that's going to be a bit slow. On the bright side, it looks like my boots have finished. So we now have increased jump distance, as well as increased jump height, on top of the nullifying of the damage. So now if I jump, I guess you gotta take the backpack off so you can see. How does it work? I don't know. Does not seem to be working the way that we wanted it to. Well, the next one is going to be our leggings. So let's go ahead and start those up. They actually tend to require the same rough materials for each one of these. So that is kind of a plus side to that. We're still waiting on our ZBM hatch, and I'm not sure why. I don't see anything in our assembler that would explain why. I totally put my suit. Chest plate. Totally put that in there, and that needs to be on so I can still look at stuff. Get back in the right hand. And let's go ahead and do the leggings next. So that's going to take its lovely little time. And I do think we need to replace that polyethylene recipe with a much better one. Polyethylene ingot. Actually, we can't because that goes directly into a fluid thing, doesn't it? So we'd have to replace both. Because it goes in there and then directly feeds into our basic fluid solidifier. So we would need ourselves an export bus. So we would actually want to go ahead and grab ourselves polyethylene recipe. There's always a better version to it, this like tetrachloride. But I don't want to be using chloride is the problem. Do I not have a... There we go. So then we will go ahead and say double this to, or 0.288. Double this one to 2, and double this one to 4, 2, 2. That's right. That doesn't sound right. That's because it's not. It's 432. 432 set. Done. Which actually is 3 ingots, and that's what we want it to say. So let's go ahead and place that and say 3 ingots. And we will go stuff that into our chemical reactor. I think this is honestly the only crafting chemical reactor we have. But if we stuff that in there, come back over here, what do we got? I think it made it through our... Nope, it did not. It's still there. So, while it continues to craft those, I think we ought to go ahead and take this recipe out so we don't have that recipe crafting anymore. Now, does that mess with this at all? Does not look like it messes with it. Clear that out and grab out ourselves a import bus. It is always interesting that you kind of got to go back and revisit over and over again previous things that you've done just to make sure everything's working, even, you know, resetting stuff. It's an export bus. What are you talking about, bruh? It's an export bus. Export. That's what we wanted. And realize all of them are over here too. I wonder I can't find any. So we want to go ahead. We'll accept that back in there, but we'll go ahead and put ourselves an export bus. we got polyethylene right there. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves that cable. Boom, boom. And export specifically polyethylene in there. That'll allow that to work, and then this thing can kind of no longer have to be worried about being in use. Make future plasticrete, since that's way too slow of a method. We got 22 of the blocks, and clearly we are not anywhere near what we would need to be able to make ourselves a second one of these. I actually realize we're actually going to have to get into sterilizing stuff too pretty soon. Yeah, and that's just to fit the assembler into there. Assembler and the other thing. It's called cutter. So, oh no. I realize that's not going to do anything unless I hook it up. So where are we along some of these other processes here? We're still doing the batteries. Available and scheduled. I think we're just waiting on the next set of lapatronic crystals. Is there like another way that it's getting bent over? Now let's see if we can supercharge this with a set of 60. See how fast we get through those, maybe. ZPM. What is holding up that ZPM module? I didn't even realize that was still also trying to craft too. So there's our plasticrete. There's our ZPM module. Is that being held up by something in the... Is it 1? Is it a 1 or a 2? So I think it's a 2. It is a 1. Oh, you know what would help is having an output for it. Duh. Hatch. Again, revisiting things that you thought you had taken care of, but you didn't. So, there's the hatch for it to go into. Insufficient outputs fluid. There's an output fluid. What do you mean? There's only one output. That's an input hatch, you silly. Screwdriver. Boom. Boom. There we go. Now we can grab our interface out and chuck it on there. Speaking of interface that we don't have. Oh, no, there is one right there. Interface. Cable. Done. Now, it looks like something kidnapped our ZPM circuit thing. That or our saw turned off. Which one was it? You know, something kidnapped our ZPM circuit. So let's go ahead and scrap that one. And we'll start again. Maybe it'll actually be able to do its thing. As it looks like all of our liquid concrete, as well as our polyethylene, is being crafted right now, making it into sheets. I wonder if there's actually a more efficient way to solidify it into the ingots. I don't know if we actually have a way to do that. So we got our... Yeah, extraction melts it back down. Yeah, I don't think I have a... What is it? It's not a forming, it's a fluid solidifier. Fluid solidifier. What is the thing? Large solidification array. Got it. Okay. And it looks like a big tube thing with a bunch of pipes on the inside. Okay. Definitely be something worthwhile if we could actually handle that. Thing is, it's kind of crazy. It's only for like very, very few recipes. So it looks like our ZPM thing finished actually this time. Maybe? No? It wants to craft more. Why does it want to craft more? Did you... No? Oh, because it's working. I can hear it working in here. Why is it not telling me that it's working? That's something I always find crazy, that it's like, yeah, we're not going to tell you that we're working, but we're working. Don't worry about it. Just trust us, bruh. Trust us. Okay, I have a feeling, and I was right. I don't need to connect this up here, so I can actually crawl back behind my machines now. Oop. And now we can upgrade this to be even greater than before. And... oh. Okay, and we got ourselves that UV energy overclock. Sweet. I wonder if that's what it is the overclock with the double thing isn't as good as the individual one itself. Maybe that's what I'm misunderstanding with those. If that's the case, and that's the way it was this whole entire time, I'm gonna be a little bit shocked, to be honest. But we do have our Fusion Mark II reactor core, which is pretty awesome. Oh, we just finished. We finished our pants? Leggings. Sweet. And that is supposed to increase our running speed. Again, I don't exactly know how. Okay, it did it. It did it. Good to know. That works really well. Now it's time for our helmet. And we are doing this in a little bit of a weird order. That is due to the simple fact that otherwise, if we do it in any other order, we have the fun issue of we have to redo the chest plate right away anyways. How are we on our plasticry, though? Looks like we actually finished it. That's kind of pretty nice. Maybe we don't need that other thing, and we just need to make sure that we have a decent amount auto-crafted beforehand. Which means I can go set that up, too, while we wait for more of this stuff to craft. I think I showed off part of how I did that before, but I'm more than happy to show it off again, as it is a very important thing when you're doing stuff with Gregtech to set certain things up to autocraft. And I thought I had, which is the only reason I hadn't been bothered to check up on stuff, is that I'm like, oh, well, I've got that auto-crafted, but then I think I got rid of the barrel that it was sitting in anyways, and so you got the problem of, oh, well, yes, it was auto-crafted, but not anymore. So we want to put a storage bus right here, and I want to put on this, we want polyethylene ingots. And so that's the first thing I always start with, is I start with that. And we need to make our wonderful interface array. So let's go ahead and check this. This can go... honestly, I think we just need to extend this out. So we need a space in between so these cables aren't interacting with each other somehow. At least that's the way I do it anyways. I think they can go one closer. I'm just never willing to risk that, so I don't test that kind of stuff out. We are going to need a few more export buses. Export. So let's craft up another 3, I think will do the full thing. And we go ahead and we put them onto each side. I guess it doesn't need it, it just needs 4. So we're going to put it on each side. We have our spider web coming up top here. And it goes down to each side as well. Boom, boom. And we just got to make sure that we have a web of connections. Because the moment we place these level emitters down, you have the issue of that one's no longer connected. And that's the same reason why you have it here or this one there. And then that allows you to put a level emitter on each and every connection. Now we just need our export buses. And we can assign them to the different things we need to craft. So I think the other thing we should definitely look at adding on is our EV and our... So we need our circuits. Say, I don't really know how much we use these EV circuits, but we might as well add those on, make sure that that's also grabbed so we don't have to search for them again. We want to take these IV circuits off. So let's go ahead and replace those. We're not going to replace that here, but we are going to set that up over here to allow us to auto-craft up this tree later. And when I go to auto-craft other stuff, I'd rather auto-craft these ones rather than these ones, because these ones won't be used for much longer. Maybe I do. Maybe I do that, actually. I think the only one I don't want to auto-craft is our crystal core processors, as those take some materials and can clog up machines if I'm not careful. It's one of the biggest reasons I'm kind of a little bit iffy about doing anything beyond this one, at least. We need ourselves another storage bus, which is right there. Put those away. And we will add in this one as well. So we're going to do our EV, which will replace our IV with. So let's go ahead and grab... Where is this one? So we're going to do that one. And we're going to have it do this as well. So we're going to change what it crafts. We should have done it the reverse order. So now it's going to probably try to craft the second tier it is. I'm going to try to craft that one first. But now, if we want polyethylene ingots, I guess we want to do our circuits first, because we have our circuits. So we're going to put our IV tier there. We're going to put our LUV tier there. And we're going to put our ZMP tier there. And I think with this one, we can go ahead and say a fair amount is probably going to be like 10 for the ZPM. We'll do... This one is our LUV circuits. And a fair amount of those ones is probably, again, like 10. We want to invert those in a minute, so we'll have to remember that. And then a good amount for this one is probably like 30 as they build into the other ones. So we want above or equal. No, we want below. If it is below the limit, it will emit the signal. Okay, and our last one, and this is the one that was the most important. We're going to go ahead and add our polyethylene ingot. And so we're going to export. I guess we just want to grab that there. We're going to export our polyethylene ingot. What the? Oh, that's right. We got to set this up to crafting cards. Otherwise, it's going to cycle stuff through the system. So let's add in our crafting cards. So we need our crafting card. Only do that one. Same thing. Crafting card. We also should add the redstone behavior. So active without signal and only craft. Let's go ahead and insert our crafting card there. Active without signal. Crafting behavior only. And then same thing here. We're going to go 1, 2, active without signal, crafting behavior. And then before we get too much further with this one, let's go ahead and active without signal and crafting behavior. And so we've got that, active without signal, redstone. And now we can have it say we want it to do polyethylene. But if we're below the levels of, let's say, 500, maybe like 450, because we want some wiggle room, as those can only hold 512 unless I I increase the level. And we have above or equal to. We want it to emit levels when they're below. And so now you should see a lot of our stuff should be taken up. We got this crafting up. Oh. That one says craft only. What are we doing? Come on. Oh, maybe it's using our overworld crafters. We have to go check that. Because that one seems to be working just fine. And submitting where it's supposed to go. What is in this one? Okay, right there. So let's go check up on that. Oh my goodness. All this running fast, and I'm actually kind of lost at where I'm at. So we've got this one now, which is going to help us breathe underwater. Replenish our food, which we don't need as we're in the other, different game mode. But it will also give us night vision and nullify harmful effects. And now comes for the chest plate. So we don't want to go straight to that one. We want this one. Nullifies burning and prevents freezing. And this will just help shorten the process to getting to our other suit. By a marginal amount, but enough to make a slight difference. So I did want to check. This is... No, this is all by request. Is it something over here? No. Is there an issue with power over here? There's no issue with power. Something is telling me that this thing is just wanting to be tricky, because sometimes these things are just a little bit tricky. Quantify. Let's look this up. Active without signal. What if I do this? Does that fix that? Okay, it does. To an extent. Request for automation. Yeah, why is it not wanting to give over the polyethylene one? That one should be easy. Export polyethylene and craft it. Didn't I, Okay, let's go look at our, pattern terminal here. I'm pretty sure I told it how to make it. Polyethylene. Did not. Oh, I never encoded and handed the pattern off, did I? No, I did. It knows how to do this. What are you talking about? It's right there. Because that does the thing. Oh, boy. There's not an issue with connection, is there? I don't think I broke the connection to that. All the devices are online still, so, like, why is it not like this? The only thing I can think of is it does not like asking for more than one automation or something at a time. Or it's that the thing is constantly in use by one of these things working in there, maybe. Ooh, but I don't really know what's going on. Which one are we making now? Where's our HV one? Lower that down to 8. But when that one's done, we can check up on the rest of these. I am really kind of clueless on what's going on here, especially since it is hooked up, so it should be able to receive its items. should be able to receive its requests. Oh, you know what? That's what my problem is. I need to read the fine print a lot easier. Active with signal. There you go. It's working now. What a wonderful, delightful problem I had. It was so simple. I should have done it sooner. Honestly. And, I realize 450 actually might not be enough wiggle room because of how fast that thing functions through it. 300 might be actually my best wiggle room there. Or 350. Oh, that's not even on, is it? No, it is. We're good. Honestly, can't believe I made some silly little mistakes like that. Polyethylene. Yeah, 350 is not going to be enough. Let's grab out one of our diamond things here. Because without that, that's going to not be at a high enough number. It's going to just keep exporting. Oh, and we've got our chest plate made. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. I don't think it... Oh, that is the QuarkTech armor test. Now comes the last part that we need, our chest plate to make the LUV. And this is where it becomes a big endeavor, because we're going to get LUV shield things, we're going to get IV emitters, we're going to get IV field generators, we're going to get gravitational units, and the lot. So there is a lot of different things that are going to be coming out. Luckily, there's only so many that are actually going to be components made in the assembler. We can kind of keep our eye on it as we wait. In the meantime, I will be right back, because I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get working more on this, because this needs to be done at least by the end of the episode. So I will be right back. Alrighty there. We have a minor problem. I realized that it did not like the durability and the charge, so it made me a whole new one. So I hope that I can scrap the old one, because that feels like a massive waste. Okay, I can. Let's go ahead and go dump that in the arc furnace. Oh boy. Put that up there. Dump our old jetpack, and ooh, energy levels are quite nice on that. It doesn't actually fluctuate while I'm flying. Into the input, and dump it in to get our materials back. Because iridium is hard to come by. But now it's time to check out our hover. So if I turn my hover on, it is quite literally like creative flight. There is no drop whatsoever. I stand and I stare at that pixel, we will just float here. No moving. Just exactly what I was looking for. That makes building a whole lot easier. And it may not be entirely finished, but our clean room is mostly finished. I'm going to have to grab the other remaining parts that we need to wrap that thing up, as if we're going to get into making that Mark II reactor, that sawmill and the assemblers are not going to cut it. We're going to need to upgrade pronto. The only thing I wanted to check, I am pretty sure, so that does take an assembly line. That takes the ZMP assembler. So we can do all of our functionality in the other room just fine. That is good to know, because that was the only thing I was worried about, is if they were going to ask us to use, what's it called? The thing... UV. He's going to ask us to use UV energy. Like, we can't do that with the assembler, since assemblers cannot be overclocked. I can see why they like that for the balancing reasons, but at the same time, It's a little frustrating. I can definitely say that. It's a little frustrating. Anyways, I think that is all for this episode. Kind of, ooh, look at that. Look at that. I think the only thing that would make him even cooler is if you could dye it. But I don't know. Looks like the tag is the same. It doesn't look like you can dye it in any way. You can apparently get a cursed one. Or get some enchantments on it. That's pretty cool. But as you can see, this takes 1 billion energy. So, funny enough, I'm going to have to recharge my battery just a little bit afterwards. But yeah, we now have our final set of armor, which is going to let us traverse, build, and do a whole bunch of other things so much easier. I did want to see. How do I jump? I don't know. These jump height and distance. I don't know. Oh, whoa. No, that doesn't seem to work. But I get the auto jump thing. Be able to walk up ledges and stuff. Oh, let's just go ahead and jump back up here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I honestly didn't think I was going to make it to this set after previously. The last jetpack set is where I ended last time with the previous mod pack. But here we are, 89 episodes in, and we've got the highest tier armor. We are on our way to finishing out this tree. What are we? I think literally, once we get that, the rest of this stuff might... I think realistically, the only thing after that is going to be time. Time. So, there might be a few things we might be able to do in the meantime to kind of do some acceleration of it. But one of the biggest things is... The only other thing I remember is that there's another mod pack. I'm pretty sure plenty of you have seen it, played it, or otherwise. I can't remember the name now. It's not Nomi Factory, it's the other one. Gregtech New Horizons. That one has like a thing where to like fully beat it and build the last like item. I think somebody said it takes an absurd amount of days, like a year's worth of days playing the game non-stop to be able to actually like craft that item outright. Something like that. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up so I can say something about it next time, if I even remember to do that, as sometimes I forget. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time, where we get a few more things ready before we tackle the large task of that Mark II reactor. Thank you all for watching. You guys have a great night. Bye!